Okay, we're now going to look at the finished goods builder and what a library, your portfolio of finished goods look like. So by this point, we've created our raw materials. We've used those raw materials to develop some formulas. We've refined those formulas to the point that we're happy with them and want to put them into production. So we've promoted some of those into production. We've produced them. We've finished that production, and now we've got large vats of chocolate that we would very much like to sell to people, which means that we need to put them into the retail format and wrap them and figure out the pricing. That's what the finished good builder is going to do. We're not going to go through the packaging material section. It's set up almost exactly like raw materials. This is where you can figure your packaging materials that will be available in this finished goods builder. So finished goods builder, we will now be able to select from any formula that we have promoted to production status. So let's pick the dark chocolate. We're going to give it a name. Let's make this, I don't know, a 56-gram dark chocolate bar in Christmas over wrap. We'll change this to 56 and move from ounces to grams. This is now going to start showing us our incremental costs. So 56 grams of this formula is costing us 46 cents in ingredients. We're going to pull in some packaging materials. We'll put a foil wrapper on it. We'll put a Christmas overwrap on it. It only needs one of them, and it's going to pull the cost for each one of these wrappers from the packaging section on the homepage. So we've got a total packaging cost in this example of 39 cents. It's now going to ask us about our overhead and waste. So overhead, I think the easiest way that I found to think about overhead would be for you guys to calculate your total monthly costs, right? So add up your rent, your equipment, your labor, your utilities, everything except for ingredients and packaging, because we just accounted for the ingredients and packaging costs in the two areas above. So whatever your total costs are for your business per month, and then divide it by how much chocolate you make per month. That will give you a cost per pound, or cost per kilogram, however it is you're measuring your weights. And that number goes here. That gets allocated across all of your production. That will make sure that your overhead costs are built into your pricing model so that you don't inadvertently underprice your bar and not account for your overhead. The waste is essentially when we set out to produce our chocolate. Let's say we made 100 pounds, but we're only going to get maybe 99 pounds out of that, right? Because we had some losses on our utensils or on our production equipment itself. Maybe we snuck a taste or two along the way, but we very rarely, if ever, get out exactly the amount that we set to produce. And so since we know how much we meant to produce in our production manager when we started the production, if we were to weigh how much we actually got out when we conclude our production, that analytics page will calculate what our waste factor is. And you can use a weighted average here. You can use the exact number for your batch, whoever it is you decide you want to account for your waste. That ensures that that waste element is built into the pricing for every single product that you sell. Now, the last thing we need to do is figure out how we're going to be selling this product, right? So we've got a couple different ways we can distribute our products. If we have our own website or a store, we're doing direct to consumer, right? We don't need a distributor. We don't need a retailer. It's going to go directly from us to our consumer. That's what this is for. If we're putting it into a store and we have a relationship with that store, right, we're going to be dropping off product directly to them and putting it on the shelves. We do not need a distributor. That's what this item is for, and that's going to allow us to build in either what the retailer mandates the price be for the bar, because sometimes they'll do that, or what the retailer mandates their margin is going to be. And we'll look at that in a minute here. If we don't have that relationship with the retailer where we can just put it on the shelves, we may need to go through a distributor who does have that relationship. And of course, that just adds another layer of margin that gets eroded away. So let's start with direct to consumer. And then we need to figure out, how do we want to price it? Do we already know what our price is going to be. Let's say we already know we want to sell this thing for $5. This will tell us then, all right, we've got 46 cents in ingredients, 39 cents in packaging, we've got a quarter in overhead, a couple cents in waste for a total break-even cost of $1.12. If we're selling this for $5, which is pulling straight from this area here that we said, that's going to give us $3.88 of profit or a 77.6% margin. If we change that to $6, then this just updates accordingly. If we say, well, golly, I'm not sure what my retail price should be, but I know what my accountant says my margin should be. We'll go over here to target margin and we'll say, my guy tells me that I need to have a 76% margin on it. This then will say, all right, your retail price needs to be 467 in order for you to hit a 76% margin. Let's look at a couple other models here. If we go direct to retailer and we calculate from the retail price, right? We're selling to whatever store we're selling to, and they say, listen, Scott, your price has to be $8.99. And of that, I'm going to take 45% margin for myself. That's just the deal if you want to be on my shelves. This then will go, all right, your price is $8.99. The retailer is going to take $2.79 of that, which is his 45% cut. That leaves you with a profit at this price point and this cost structure of $5.08 or an 81.9% margin. We can do the exact same thing if we don't know what the price is going to be. Say the retailer says, I need at least 45 margin on it, and you say, I want 75% margin. Boom, your retail pricing then becomes $6.50. That lets retailer take his 45% margin, and it gives you exactly 75% margin. We do the same thing with the distributor, but now the distributor has built in what his margin is going to be. So I won't go through this in detail because it's set up the same way, but this just models in whatever your margin that your distributor is going to be. We're going to go ahead and save that. And then we're going to look at the finished good library. This is the overview of everything that we have as an active SKU in our retail portfolio. And so up here, we can see that we've got a total of 5 active things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this says 6th. And so if I toggle between all products and active, we can see that I've got something that I archived, because when I look at it, I go, ooh, man, at this price structure, at this price point, I'm only getting 2.4% margin. I don't think that's a good idea. I can't change my pricing for whatever reason, so I'm going to archive that and make sure that it just drops off of the things that I'm actively selling. This then will then say, all right, of all these active things in my portfolio, my average margin is 75.2%, but then I can break it down by my specific route to customer. So with these numbers being completely made up, we see that my portfolio of things, which again, there's only 5 things here, but 2 of them are direct to customer, and they have an average margin of 74.6. I've got 1 thing that's direct to retailer with a margin of 81, and then my retailer versus distributor line has an average of 72. Typically, what you'll see is that your highest margin is going to be direct to consumer. Your next highest will be direct to retailer, and then followed up by retailer via distributor, because there's just more steps along the way of people taking margin in it. The last thing I'm going to call out is that when I look at our finished product, the way we built it, at the bottom, we have the ability to look at our nutrition facts panel, right? And so this is going to automatically generate regulatorily compliant nutrition facts panel in a couple of different formats. So right now, it's going to default to US standard vertical, but you can do tabular, horizontal, there's linear, there's some requirements, there's some specificity around which format is usable based on the footprint of your packaging formats. But this is going to lay them out for you as you need them to. And then there's a Canadian toggle here as well. Currently, I do not have any other regions of the world built into it, just because I had to stop developing at some point, right? I think if the demand is there and there's a reason for me to add an additional nutrition packs panel, compliance or capability or generation for other regions, I can totally do so. But I needed to stop building at some point because I just needed to stop building at some point. So that's the way it is set up. And if we go back to our finished goods library, we can access those nutrition fact panels as well directly from here. So if I wanted to see what my nutrition facts panel was for the 70-gram milk chocolate, I can click on the purple button and it just pulls it up instantly.